The lights go out. The grid dies. Silence falls over the neighbourhood like a heavy wool blanket. In that first hour, everyone is equal. Everyone is confused. But then you make your first mistake. You click on a flashlight in your kitchen. You didn't think about the window. You didn't think about the physics of light in a true blackout. To you, it's just a beam of light. To the desperate family 3 doors down, staring out into the void, your window is a lighthouse. It screams, "I have resources." In that split second, purely by ignoring the physics of light, you have marked yourself as a target. You didn't hide, you advertised. Operational security, or OPSEC, isn't about building a bunker under your garden. It is about the management of physics, light, sound, smell, and mass. If you fail to manage these signatures, it doesn't matter how much rice you bought. It matters that your neighbour Jerry knows exactly where it is. Most of you have this fantasy of the Alamo. You think survival is about sitting on a porch with a shotgun protecting your stash. Let me tell you how that actually ends. It ends with you tired, outnumbered, and your house burning down, because you made yourself a castle worth storming. The goal of this briefing is not to teach you how to fight a siege. It is to teach you how to prevent the siege from ever starting. We are going to cover the legal realities of what you can own, the physics of how information leaks from your house, and the psychology of desperate crowds. We are going to talk about why your trash is a dossier on your logistics, why the smell of cooking bacon is a death sentence, and why the most dangerous person in a collapse isn't the roaming marauder, but the polite authorities doing a welfare check. If you want to keep what you have earned, you need to stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a ghost. Let's run the scenario. It's day 3 of a nationwide grid failure. The grocery stores were stripped bare on day 1. By now, the panic buying has stopped because there is nothing left to buy. Your neighbourhood is dark. The streetlights are dead. People are sitting in their living rooms, cold, hungry, and terrified. You, however, are prepared. You have battery banks. You have LED lanterns. You feel safe. So you turn them on. You let your kids read in the living room. From the street, your house looks like a spaceship landed in a graveyard. The contrast ratio, the physics of luminance, is infinite. Your neighbour, let's call him Jerry, is watching from his darkened window. Jerry has 2 kids who are crying because they are hungry and scared of the dark. When Jerry sees your light, he doesn't feel happy for you. He feels rage. He feels that you are hoarding comfort while his family suffers. This is how the breach begins. Not with a kick at the door, but with a resentful stare across the street. So how do we defeat the physics of light? You need to implement blackout discipline immediately. This isn't just closing the blinds. Standard blinds leak light through the slats. Standard curtains glow like a projector screen. You need density. In the military, we use heavy, opaque materials. For your home, if you are running lights inside, you need multiple layers. Cardboard taped over the glass, followed by heavy blankets. Test it. Go outside at night and look at your own house. If you see a single photon escaping, you have failed. Better yet, change your behaviour. Use red light filters on your tactical lights. Red light doesn't travel as far and preserves night vision. Keep light sources low to the floor, under the window line. If you must have light, do it in an interior room with no windows. If Jerry looks at your house, he should see exactly what he sees in his own mirror: darkness. If you look like a victim, you won't be treated like a target. You might be sitting there thinking, I have enough food, I don't need to worry about Jerry. Do you? The average American has 3 days of food in the pantry. You think you have 2 weeks. You are probably wrong. When the heat goes off, caloric burn rates skyrocket. Stress doubles your metabolic demand. That sack of rice you think lasts a month might last 10 days when you're freezing and patrolling your perimeter. You are guessing with your family's lives. You need to stop guessing and look at the hard data. I built a tool for this. It's called the Protocol Survival app. It has a survival score calculator. You plug in your inventory, your family size, and the temperature conditions, and it tells you the exact date your children stop eating. It's a sobering number. Most people fail the math. Go to protocolsurvival.com right now. The calculator is free to try. Get your score. Find out if you are actually ready, or if you are just hallucinating safety. Day 5. The silence is deeper now. The background hum of the city, traffic, HVAC units, distant sirens, is gone. The noise floor has dropped to near zero. In this acoustic environment, sound travels differently. Physics again. Without background noise to mask it, a specific frequency stands out for miles. I'm talking about your generator. You bought a shiny new gas generator. You fire it up in the backyard to keep the freezer running. To you, it's a reassuring hum. To the neighbourhood, it is a dinner bell. It sounds like a lawnmower running in a library. It screams power, fuel, resources. Within 20 minutes, you will have people walking down your driveway. Some will beg, some will demand. And if you have enough fuel to run a generator, the logic goes, you have enough food to share. You have just violated the primary rule of OPSEC. Never broadcast your capability. If you must run a generator, you have to treat it like a covert operation. First, lose the open-frame contractor generators. They are deafening. Inverter generators are quieter, but not silent. You need physical barriers. Sandbags stacked around the unit will absorb the lower frequencies. Plywood baffle boxes with foam lining can deflect the high frequencies up rather than out. But the best defense is the duty cycle. Don't run it 24/7. Run it for 1 hour in the middle of the day when ambient noise is highest, maybe when the wind is blowing or during a rainstorm. Charge your battery banks, freeze your thermal mass in the freezer, and then kill the engine. Silence is your armor. Never run a generator at night. Sound travels further in cooler night air due to refraction in the atmosphere. Physics again. A generator at 2 a.m. is audible for nearly a mile in a dead grid scenario. Keep it off, keep it quiet, keep it hidden. Let's talk about trash. In a normal world, the garbage truck comes every Tuesday. You put your bins out, they disappear. In a collapse, the trucks stop coming. But you keep generating trash. And what you throw away tells a story. If Jerry walks by your side alley and sees empty boxes of Mountain House freeze-dried meals, spent fuel canisters, or packaging for high-end tactical gear, he has all the intelligence he needs. Your trash is a dossier. It tells him you are eating well, while he is eating his pet's dry kibble. It tells him you have weapons. It tells him you are a supply depot. Piling up trash bags visible from the street is a rookie mistake. It signals that life inside your house is proceeding as normal, generating waste, consuming products. That flow of matter, mass in, mass out, is visible proof of your stockpile. You need a waste management plan that assumes no pickup for 6 months. First rule, sanitization. Never throw away packaging that identifies the product. Burn paper and cardboard if you can do it without smoke. Well, get to smell later. If you can't burn it, shred it and compress it. Plastic and metal are the problem. You need to wash them to prevent smell, because the smell of rotting food attracts pests and neighbors. And then store them out of sight. Crush cans flat to reduce volume. Nest containers. Store this refuse in the garage, in sealed contractor bags, hidden behind the normal junk. If you must put trash out during a partial service resumption, bury your high-value trash, batteries, food wrappers, inside low-value trash, dirty diapers, yard waste. Make your trash look poor. Make it look like you are suffering just as much as the guy next door. No one raids a house that looks like it's already been picked clean. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I see it in the comments every time. Sergeant Miller, this is paranoia. We live in the United States. The National Guard will deploy. FEMA will set up distribution centres. The Constitution protects my property. Let's steelman this argument. You are right that the government has a plan. They have trucks, they have personnel, and they have the Defence Production Act. But here is the reality those plans don't account for. Scale. In a regional disaster, help comes in 3 days. In a national grid-down scenario, the helpers are victims too. The National Guard soldier has a family he can't call. The truck driver has no diesel. But let's assume they do show up. Do you think they are there to protect your private stockpile? No. They are there to maintain order and distribute resources. And if they are short on resources and you have excess, you become a logistics solution for them. This isn't conspiracy, it's history. Read the executive orders regarding hoarding during national emergencies. The line between prepared citizen and illegal hoarder moves depending on how desperate the government is. Under the Defence Production Act, the President can designate materials as scarce and essential. If you are sitting on 500 N95 masks during a pandemic, or 500 gallons of fuel during a shortage, you aren't a prepper anymore. Legally, you are a hoarder. They don't need to kick your door down with a SWAT team. They just need a health and safety pretext. A neighbour reports a fire hazard due to fuel storage. Code enforcement shows up with a police escort. They see the fuel. They seize it for public safety. They see the pallet of MREs. They might decide that constitutes intent to resell or simply excessive accumulation in a time of crisis. You cannot fight this in court because the courts aren't open. The only way to win this legal battle is to never have the inspection in the first place. You must be invisible to the bureaucracy. To defeat the inspection, whether from a nosy neighbour or an official, you need a sacrificial pantry. This is layer 1 of your storage. It is the pantry in your kitchen. It should look exactly like a normal family's pantry. Half empty, a few cans of soup, maybe a box of stale crackers. When Jerry comes over to beg, you open this pantry. You let him see the empty shelves. You say, "Jerry, I'm down to my last can of beans, but I'll split it with you." You give him the beans. You have now bought his trust and his silence. He goes back to the rest of the block and says, "Don't bother with Miller, he's starving too." You have successfully managed the narrative. If the authorities come, this is what they see. They verify you aren't hoarding. They mark you as low priority / needs aid, and they move on. You must be willing to sacrifice a small percentage of your supplies to protect the bulk of them. Your real supplies, the deep storage, must be physically separated from your living space. We are talking about density and occlusion. Don't leave buckets of wheat in the garage. That is the first place people look. You need to utilize dead space. Under the floorboards? Classic, but effective. Inside the box springs of your beds? Excellent. Behind the drywall in the back of a closet? Even better. But remember the physics of weight. Water weighs 8.3 pounds per gallon. Canned goods are heavy. If you load up an attic, you might crack the ceiling joists. If you load up a second floor, you might bow the floor. A bowing ceiling is a visual indicator to a trained searcher. Keep the heavy mass low, basements, slab floors, and disguise the containers. A stack of Christmas decoration totes is invisible to the male brain. A stack of olive drab military crates screams gun nut. Camouflage is about blending into the expectations of the observer. Make your supplies look like boring, worthless household junk. We've covered light and sound. Now, the most primal sense. Smell. The grid has been down for 2 weeks. People are subsisting on cold, canned corn and raw ramen. Their olfactory senses are heightened by hunger. And then, you decide to fry some spam. Or bake bread. The physics of smell is basically particle dispersion. Those delicious fat molecules ride the thermal currents out of your kitchen vent, drift across the yard, and hit Jerry's nose like a sledgehammer. You might as well have fired a flare gun. The smell of hot, fatty food triggers an aggressive, primal response in starving people. It overrides social niceties. They will come to your door, and they won't be asking nicely. They will want to know where the bacon is, and when they find the bacon, they find the generator, and the water, and the ammo. You have compromised your entire position because you wanted a hot breakfast. You need strict cooking protocols. First rule, no frying. Frying creates airborne oils that travel long distances and stick to surfaces. Boiling is safer. Boiling retains the smell within the water vapour, which is easier to contain. Second, do not use your kitchen exhaust fan. That fan is a direct exhaust pipe broadcasting your menu to the street. Block it off. Cook in an interior room if possible. If you can, cook at night when the neighbours are asleep. Though be careful of the light discipline we discussed. The best option? Eat cold food during the day. Save the heating for boiling water for freeze-dried meals, which have less odour than frying meat. If you have a fireplace, do not assume the chimney hides the smell. Wood smoke masks some things, but the smell of roasting meat is distinct. If you are cooking something good, you are creating a threat. Eat simply, eat quietly, eat odourless. The ultimate hiding spot is in plain sight. This is the grey man theory. It means you don't look tactical, you don't look prepared, you don't look like a victim. You look average. You look boring. If you walk out to check your mail wearing pristine Cry Precision camo pants and a plate carrier, while your neighbours are wearing dirty sweatpants, you are a target. You need to simulate the decay of the neighbourhood. If everyone else is losing weight, you can't look well-fed and rosy-cheeked. Wear baggy clothes to hide your caloric retention. If everyone else is dirty, stop shaving. Rub some dirt on your face. It sounds theatrical, but it's camouflage. You need to mirror the baseline misery of your environment. If you look too healthy, too clean, or too calm, people will instinctively know you have a secret. And they will tear your house apart to find it. If a search is inevitable, if the mob kicks the door or the police have a warrant, you need a fallback. You need a decoy stash. This is different from the Sacrificial Pantry. The Sacrificial Pantry is for guests. The Decoy Stash is for looters. This stash should be somewhat hidden, but findable with a little effort. Maybe it's a plastic bin in the closet labelled Emergency Food. Inside, put some legitimate supplies. 20 pounds of rice, a case of water, some cheap gear. When the looters find this, their brain releases dopamine. They feel successful. They think they found the treasure. Most looters are lazy and time-constrained. They will grab the decoy stash and leave, thinking they cleaned you out. If you hide everything too well, they will keep tearing up the house until they find something, or they will hurt you to make you talk. Give them a win so they leave you alone. Losing $50 of rice is better than losing your life or your main 3-year stockpile. We are talking about hiding physical things. But what about your information, your plans, Your maps. In a grid-down scenario, the cloud does not exist. Your Google Drive is gone. Your Notion notes are gone. If you are relying on the internet to tell you how to purify water or treat a gunshot wound, you are dead. You need a system that works when the lights are out. This is why I built the offline mode into Protocol Survival. It downloads the entire survival database, your inventory lists, and your emergency contacts directly to your phone's local storage. You can put your phone in airplane mode, toss it in a Faraday bag, and 6 months later, that data is still there. It is your digital brain when the world goes analog. Don't wait until the cell towers drop to try and download your maps. It will be too late. Go to Protocol Survival, secure your account, and sync your offline data now. Secure your mind, not just your beans. Here is the final complication. You can't survive alone forever. Eventually, you have to sleep. Eventually, you need a perimeter. This brings us to the neighborhood watch. In a long-term crisis, neighborhoods naturally form security teams to fight off outsiders. This is good, but it is also dangerous. To be part of the team, you have to contribute. If you contribute too much, "Hey guys, I have 500 rounds of 5.56 and a thermal scope," you just exposed yourself to the group. Now they know who to rob if things get tighter. But if you contribute nothing, they view you as a leech and won't protect your house. You have to walk the razor's edge. Contribute skills, not supplies. Be the guy who knows how to fix the barricade. Be the guy who knows first aid. Be the guy willing to stand the 2 a.m. guard shift. People value labour. If you are valuable labour, they won't ask why you aren't skinny yet. Hide your supplies, share your sweat. The worst case scenario isn't a looter, it's an evacuation order. A chemical spill, a wildfire, or a tactical nuke nearby. The National Guard rolls in with juice-and-a-halves. Mandatory evacuation. You have 10 minutes, 1 bag per person. All that food, all that water. The physics of mass says it stays behind. This is where your hiding strategy shifts to caching. If you stored everything in one giant pile in the basement, you lose it all. It will be looted by the troops or the scavengers who stay behind. This is why you need distributed caches. Burial tubes in the backyard. Hidden compartments in the structure of the house that won't be found by casual looters. If you have to leave, you want to know that if you ever come back, something is waiting for you. Or, if you have a destination, you should have cached supplies en route. Never put 100% of your equity in a location you can be forced to abandon at gunpoint. Let's end the story. The crisis lasts 3 months. The grid comes back up. The trucks start running. You survived. Your family is alive. They aren't malnourished. But the neighborhood is different now. Jerry lost his house. The family down the street lost a child to dysentery. You have to live with these people. If they know you sat on a mountain of food while they buried their kid, you will be a pariah. You will be hated. This is the final reason for OPSEC. It's not just about keeping your stuff. It's about keeping your community standing after the dust settles. If you hid well, you are just another survivor who got lucky. If you flashed your prep, you are the villain. The protection of your reputation is as vital as the protection of your calories. Silence protects your future relationships, not just your current dinner. We've talked about physics, light, sound, smell, mass. But the most important element is discipline. The discipline to sit in the dark when you have a light. The discipline to eat cold beans when you have a stove. The discipline to look your hungry neighbour in the eye and say, "I'm sorry, I don't have anything." Because you know that 1 can of beans won't save him. but it might doom your daughter. It is a cold calculus. It is a heavy burden. But you are not preparing to be a hero. You are preparing to be a father. You are preparing to be a protector. And sometimes the best protection is to be absolutely nothing. To be a ghost. To be a void in the data. The grid isn't what keeps the lights on, people. It's what keeps the monsters out. When the grid goes, you don't become a monster. You become a shadow. Stay safe. Stay hidden. Out.